Hey everyone, it's Rob.
Hey, Michelle.
And welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast on everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet Merp.
All right, so this week up on the docket, of course, we're going to start off letting you know what we have been up to this week. And then we'll be going into really not much so far, but
a little bit of stuff.
Hopefully
so,
some really exciting stuff in the second half for sure. Anyways, we're going to be starting off with some final, I guess, updates on the figurines, and then we'll talk about some Yama changes. And then lastly, we have this week's first update. There's going to be a second. The first one is primarily just like a quality of life, like mini update thing. And then tomorrow, the whole reason I'm kind of alluding to tomorrow being exciting is it's the beginning of the sailing alpha.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have time to try it out for at least a couple minutes before we record the second half.
Yes, and it is going to last for, just to immediately answer the question I'm sure someone will have, it is going... If our memory serves, shout out to my memory not ever working, but it is going to last for a week.
That's not very long.
It is not very long.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess we'll confirm that later, though.
Yeah, we will confirm that. Obviously, they don't have an update blog for tomorrow's alpha yet, but as of, you could just scroll ahead in the episode if that's all you care about.
I'm sure there will be another blog.
But yeah, we
will
talk about it tomorrow anyway. So in like 20 minutes, you guys will hear about the updated version. But yeah, so that's pretty excited. We'll talk about that whenever that does come out. And then, of course, as always, we'll end off with our Q&A. So hopefully you can drop your questions if it's about sailing or anything like that. You can drop them on any of our socials or go to our discord.gg/Bunebape. Feel free to join, play games with us, or ask questions.
We do movie nights on Saturdays.
We do movie nights. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Ask your questions anywhere, and we love to answer them.
We do.
Before we get into all that really cool stuff, though, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going good. So I've just been sending, I can't remember if I said my goal last week, but my goal right now is a duo T-boat with Wraith. So we've just been sending some chain bees. I did say something last week because I think I called him out on getting a drop without me. But we have not gotten a single purple this week. I don't know how many raids we've done, to be honest, but I'm assuming it's probably like 15 or so. So I think it's supposed to be like 1 out of every 20 raids per person, right? You wouldn't know. I don't know why I'm asking you.
I have no idea.
I feel like it's something like that. So, hopefully we're close to getting a drop. And then other than that, I haven't really been doing anything in RuneScape. Every once in a while I'll go kill some giant mole off stream, but that's not too much. That's like my slow pet grind after Scurious. And I also have been playing a lot of Skyrim. I just joined the Companions, and I just joined the Thieving Guild as well. You don't even know that. I just did it right before we recorded.
Oh, that's cool.
So if that means anything to you guys, there you have it.
So you went to Riften, or where's the theme? Okay, yeah.
I'm kind of just hopping all over the place.
I was like, that's kind of weird because you haven't even gone to anywhere else.
Oh, at one point, I was just walking east and then south as much as I could before I got bored.
That's weird.
And just like unlocking everything. I mean, it's nice because now I'm doing these quests and I can just hop all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have like 30 things on my quest list. So I'm kind of just trying to go through them and clear that up. But it's, it's like kind of like RuneScape. You clear up one and it auto starts another.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. But
without spoiling it, there are 2 more guilds you could join.
I'm already in. Oh, I feel like there's another guild I'm in. Don't tell me.
No, it's impossible for you to be in another guild.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. But yeah, so I'm in the Thief Guild. Don't know why. I was just doing a quest. I didn't realize I was going to join.
I haven't played the game in like 15 years, so I could potentially be wrong.
It's also the special edition version.
I think there was only 4 from what I remember.
Maybe. I also enrolled in school, but I don't really know what I'm doing there. But I'm having fun. So I've just been doing like...
It sounded like you just said that as like an aside for real life.
Yeah, that too. In game, I've joined the magic school. But yeah, I've been doing like 2 to 3 raids a night, and then I just go and play Skyrim until bed. And no drops. I really need to get a drop or something because really running low on shorts to do. Usually I try to do like multiple RuneScape in a row, and then random games. But now there's so much Skyrim and not so much RuneScape that I'm just doing every other short is Skyrim.
Yeah.
Because more stuff's happening in Skyrim. Like even if I play RuneScape more, nothing's necessarily happening. So that's been a thing. If you like Skyrim shorts, go check out our YouTube. I also posted a highlight video of some old TikToks, and this one was around combat achievements. If you want to go watch those, it kind of made me be like, God, I really need to go for my master tier. but then also I want to do raids and get money. So kind of torn. I did finish all the Araxer CAs. I don't know if I said that last week.
I
So
don't know.
cool.
That's
I
cool.
don't know either. But that's what I've been up to. I think that's it all around. How are you?
Big. I am.
You're big.
Yeah. I am chilling, not playing any RuneScape, obviously. In case anyone's still wondering.
You would cut it the other week.
I did woodcut the other week. I still have like 200 days of membership or something. So
It's always there if you decide you want to do something.
yeah, hopefully Leagues comes around before then. Probably not. But besides that, I've been playing. I played a bit of Guild Wars. I played a bit of this game called Throne and Liberty. It's like an MMO, but it's like a Korean MMO. And it's funny because I was going to do like a review for it, but honestly, I got like so bored within the first 2 hours. I was like, I kind of don't want to do this right now.
Yeah, tell them about the review thing that you've been doing if anyone didn't hear last week.
Yeah, I've just
If
been
you want to
doing
just do a short little
reviews of
thing.
games I play essentially.
Yeah, he plays them for 10 hours and then reviews them.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not specifying. But he had another video come out. It was on Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's free to play too, so
Yeah.
it's cool to get into. But it's like
It's on our YouTube if you guys want to watch a full review. I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it.
yeah. Honestly, I think I'd played a lot more. But the one thing about the game that I just don't like is in the end game it'd be like if everything just only rewarded like if dragon was the best piece of gear. It's like if every raid only rewarded different colors of dragon.
Oh, nothing like unique.
Yeah, like there's nothing that gives you more power necessarily.
No shadow or TiVo.
Yeah, nothing like that. It would just all be like if one place gave Torva, all of them would give Torva essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's my main
Some
problem.
people
with
might
that
like
game.
that.
No, a lot of people like it. I mean, a lot of people play it, and it's a really good game. Just that's not for me. So
Fair.
besides that, though, I am playing. Friends have kind of revived Valheim for the time being.
This is not going to get a review. He's just actually a Valheim player. You put way too many hours in it to make a review of it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you could.
I mean, yeah, I definitely could, but it's not the type of game I would review anyways.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be for the series.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing with some friends, so
Yeah.
it's like a super modded server.
Do you know what your next game is going to be for your little series?
Yes.
Can we know, or is it?
No, I can't tell you.
Is it BG3?
I know the next 2 games actually.
Someone commented because I asked everyone to comment. No one really is listening to me. You guys don't understand that I'm serious about this. Someone actually commented saying he should play BG3, and I don't know if it was anyone from the stream or podcast because they didn't say. So I was like, okay, look, you got a suggestion.
Yeah. But yeah, so I know the next 2 games I'm gonna play, but that will not be till next week. And then also for anyone that does play Path of Exile 2, there's gonna be a new. It's so funny. There's been like so many action RPG news things happening this month that it's kind of crazy. Like Path of Exile 2 has a fairly large update / expansion thing coming out in 2 weeks, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was funny because another game had already last Epoch already was another action RPG had their release on the same day. And so they were kind of like, dang, this sucks because they're a way smaller game.
Yeah.
So much so that they're like, all right, well, we're delaying our launch date by 2 weeks because they didn't want to conflict with Path of Exile.
Smart, to be honest.
It's funny because the thing that they rescheduled for in 2 weeks, there was already another game, Torchlight Infinite, having their update on the same day. So they're just both going to have it on the same day now.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunate.
That's rough.
But yeah, there's just a lot of action RPG stuff happening this week.
Why don't you guys just
this
wait
month.
till April?
Yeah.
Wait
I
till
don't
May.
know.
I don't know.
Well,
Whatever.
I was going to say, it actually is all in April.
Wait till May.
Yeah. Besides that, though, we do have some community news that we could jump into.
Oh, sure. I didn't even know.
Yeah. So the first one.
I mean, huge for the community. Goose has been on our lap this whole time, by the way.
Yeah, small cat goose.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of interesting because this is more like what do you think about this? Because this is honestly kind of how I thought it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Someone was saying that they should introduce something called extreme hardcore, which would work how I thought it did work, which is whenever you die, your account like low key gets just
deleted.
Not deleted, but sent back to Lumbridge, and you just have to restart as a hardcore again. Like there is no regular Iron Man version for you.
I mean, they could. That's terrifying. I don't see any reason not to, though.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's how I imagined it would be. and how I feel like it probably should be. I feel like the like de-ironing or the back to like regular Iron Man isn't as cool. It makes it less cool.
It gets rid of some of the prestige.
Yeah, because anyone that goes from hardcore to regular, it's like, oh,
There's
okay.
a regular now.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like meaningless at that point.
I don't know, because then I mean, it's the same whenever we like started the GIM and I want to do hardcore, because I think it's just kind of cool to have that flex, even if it's just for a little bit to try it.
I guess, but then once you don't have it, then you don't have it,
Yeah,
and then it won't matter. None
at
of
least
that
you
will matter.
tried. At least you tried.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
That's my thinking.
Besides that, though, I do have one more thing that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
And
While you scroll, I thought it was very funny because me and him both just made the same mistake of trying to pet Goose's paw, both of us not realizing she's in play mode, and both of us getting scratched.
oh, I didn't get scratched, and I wasn't playing with her paw. I was trying to unsnag it from my pants.
Okay, well, I tried to pet her paw, and this is while I was talking too, so I was trying to be casual. She wrapped my hand in both paws and then bit my hand.
Yeah, no.
She's ferocious.
I was just releasing her claw.
I thought we had something in common, so never mind.
Nope. Something that I thought was really interesting is someone did bring up Resurrected from the Dead, the God alignment prayer extensions.
Okay.
For anyone that doesn't remember, I don't even know how many months ago, like
Several at this point.
like 6 months ago plus. They originally were going to do an entire new prayer book.
And then we're like, that's way too much.
And then everyone's like, yo, this prayer book sucks. And so they scrapped that idea. And then someone's like, we should just do potentially God alignment prayers, which makes it so like there are an additional 4 prayers
per
God, kind of in alignment with that God's like theme. For instance, like, I don't know, Zerosian might be chaos infused, and Bandosian might be more like war based or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe more melee. Who knows? But they're all supposed to be themed around the gods. And then they're all like, all right, cool. You guys like this idea? We'll do this. And then since then, it's been radio silence.
Yeah, they said they were working on it. And, I mean, clearly they had a lot of other stuff that they were doing instead.
They should not have said that they're working on it, because Mod Kieran actually jumped in and was like, oh, yeah, I remain a huge fan of this. And like everyone, I think at this point, everyone was kind of like, oh, this is like just not going to happen. Or if it is, it's going to take forever. And
I'm in that boat.
Yeah, I just thought it wasn't going to happen. And Mod Kieran pretty much confirmed that it's just pretty much not going to happen at this point.
Really?
Yeah, so they said...
read it word for word.
So, yeah. So he does say that admittedly they struggle with design ideas and what would genuinely work, with continued room to expand into several more alignment sets, because obviously there's like 8 gods or something like that. So
yeah, that does make it hard.
Yeah, so it says, or he even goes on to say that it's one thing for us to design 2 or 3, but realistically the system benefits by getting 7 or 8, obviously, because that's how many gods there are. The question is, how do you do this and get the balance right without it being meaningless or tedious, or it's just something you need to switch based on activity? Because obviously the main concern for a lot of players is like, okay, these are cool, but if this is the utility one, do I just use this while I'm doing utility things like cooking? Is there going to be a cooking one? Is there going to be a farming one? And then it's like, all right, if that exists, then there's probably going to be one for doing mage. If I'm going to a mage boss, then I got to turn on my mage prayers first.
Yeah, it'll become required.
Yeah, so it's not like it would even make the game better. It would just be like something you have to do before you go do a content, because it's just the most optimal way to do it. So besides that, he pretty much closes off and says, I don't think we're closed off to ever contemplating this again, but for the foreseeable, we aren't revisiting this. Though perhaps someone will have an S tier suggestion for balancing and stuff like that. But until that happens, they're pretty much just not going to pursue this.
So this is bittersweet to me, because I think it's actually kind of a good decision that they were like, you know what, this isn't working. Let's just scrap it, which I think is great. Good choice. Don't know why they didn't tell us and we had to wait for a mod to comment on Reddit though.
Yeah. Yeah, I
We're
was
not
gonna
gonna say
say
anything unless like we miss something. But usually, I mean, I feel like we're pretty good at least seeing that the blog exists, even if we do mess up details.
yeah, it does suck, but I am glad that at least it was, confirmed
We
finally
know
that
something.
someone was like, yeah, we're just not doing this anymore, because I think most people were like, this is years away or not going to happen. So
Yeah,
now we just know it's not going to happen.
I did think of it a couple months ago, and I was like, is that next year? Like,
Yeah.
did that get announced? I don't know.
No,
Didn't.
no, it didn't. And lastly, mod light. We did get a new mod Rach, I'm guessing is how they
Mhm.
pronounce it. It's just probably short for Rachel. I
Yeah,
don't know her name.
probably.
But yeah, they didn't get rid of, Michelle thought they got rid of mod light, but
She just switch roles, I'm sure.
no, it's extremely common for games to have multiple community managers.
Oh,
So
cool.
mod light even made a post earlier today with some slides outlining the Sailing Alpha launch tomorrow. So you can swipe to read them. It's on the subreddit and stuff like that, and it tells you what to expect before you're playing, sharing your thoughts, the introductory quests, some port tasks.
Stuff we kind of talked about last week.
Yeah, Barracuda trials. There's wind mechanics, charting the sea, ship customization, shipwreck salvaging, and there's just like a cool little infograph or info thing for all of that.
That's cool.
So you can check it out. And Modlight posted that.
Mod Rach is also community manager. I feel like we didn't straight up say that, but kind of implied.
Yeah. So
New community manager.
They are both community managers.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes. But that is all the news I have for this week.
Yeah, we have some regular news though, starting out with the Youtooz. So just a reminder to pre-order the Wise Old Man and Gnome Child figurines from Youtooz. The pre-orders close at 7 p.m. GMT on March 21st, but on the website it says that you have 8 days and 16 hours to keep ordering these if you guys are interested. I'm assuming that's not pre-order, but I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Wait, you said, I'm confused because it specifically says 1 week left right here.
Pre-orders close on the 21st of March. This came on the 14th.
Yeah,
this is an old blog.
I'm guessing that
they extended it.
No, I'm guessing that they got the day wrong.
Yeah, or we're gonna look at a different blog and there's a note saying they extended it and I missed it. Also possible, but they are still available for 8 more days.
Yeah. Either way,
whatever reason that may be.
Honestly, if you haven't got them by now, you probably don't want them. But if you want some figurines, then you can get them.
I wanted to read the descriptions because we were kind of talking about before. So the Wise Old Man is 4.5 inches tall and wields the iconic Ceradon staff as he unleashes a Ceradoman strike, featuring a large crystal window at the front of the packaging. The Wise Old Man is captured in front of his bookcase wearing his iconic blue party hat. And then for the Gnome Child, he is also 4.7 inches tall. He sits perched on a large red toadstool, dressed in green gnomish attire, with a chat box on his lap containing one of 4 possible phrases. The phrases are, free stuff please, but spelled goofy, blah blah blah, rude little gnome, hello, would you like a worm, and I'm making wine out of raisins.
I feel like that was different than last time.
No, because I remember the hello, would you like a worm, and I was like, that's weird.
Oh, weird.
Sounds like innuendo.
I have no idea.
Did I say that word?
Yeah.
Okay. Couldn't look that. But yeah, that's all it is on the Youtooz. Those are still available if you guys want them.
Yeah, and
there's also sorry, they said to keep an eye out because some other things will be appearing on YouTube soon. Probably the Sandwich Lady and Bando's plushies.
Yeah, probably.
That they previewed.
Besides that, though, we have some actual real cool stuff for the next update, which is going to be Yama, the new endgame boss. This is the duo boss for anyone that hasn't heard. It is very endgame and will thus have very endgame items.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, so this is an updated blog. It's just an extension from last week's, so we're not going to be reading the whole thing, obviously. But there have been a few updates on clarifications as well as changes, subtle changes, really, so that the new Cosmic Soul Rune will no longer be called the Cosmic Soul Rune. It's going to be called the Aether Rune.
It's fine.
Which is okay.
Yeah. It's better than the Cosmic Soul Rune.
Yeah, they saw it as a popular suggestion, so that's...
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, me neither. But anyways, yeah, that's what it's going to be. Additionally, we've renamed Abyssal Worms to Diabolic Worms because they're just up to no good, apparently.
They're just little demon worms.
And then also on the naming front for this next one, they already said that they are open to additional changes or suggestions for the name as well as the look of the armor. So these are some concept arts that they introduced for the new soul armor, tentatively being named Oath Plate armor, which is a much better name in their opinion than soul, benefiting and more befitting of its demonic knight vibe.
Yeah, so there is some concept art. I mean, I kind of like the vibe because they even pointed out that it's a bit more of like the classic medieval flair into in-game gear because all the like medieval vibes, you can sit those low level.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. It has like the classic, like, you know, helmet with the plume of feathers going out, but it's all like emo. Ow, oh my God. She's dug into my knee. Anyway, so naturally the first set is going to be red, the less detailed. Everything's red and black in this game, low-key. And then the second one's kind of more like a dark burgundy grayish. I don't know, it's kind of a weird color, but it has like more detail. It has crazy eyebrow spikes.
Yeah, it is definitely a very dark red.
Yeah, I don't know what color this is, but I think that they look cool. But Robert was seeing some cooler suggestions on Reddit.
Yeah, I was thinking that like it's cool, but the idea of it, I think, is like could be cooler. I think.
Yeah.
Because like the idea is oath plate, in that you are a like demonic knight.
You made a demonic oath.
And you're bound to your oaths, right? But I thought that the like I thought it was like a lot of people were throwing out these ideas, all right? I'm not unique in this.
This was all your idea?
Yeah, totally. One, I do think it looks cool, but I also think it kind of just looks like souped up dragon plate.
It does, especially the first one.
That's not that exciting to me. And I don't think it's really appropriate because it's not a dragon. So I kind of think like the alternative version, the dark version, is probably just more fitting because one, it's darker, more demonic looking, and it's still kind of honestly like dragony to me, but I guess it's still better than the original concept.
The other one kind of just looks like an ornament kit with spun dragon gear.
It does. Yeah.
Which looks cool, but yeah, it is an in-game boss, so it's kind of weird.
Besides that, though, a lot of people were kind of likening this because obviously, you know, there's oaths and contracts. And so people were saying it'd be cooler if the plate was called like Oath Breaker Plate or Oath Breaker Armor or something like that. Because, I mean, I guess the whole point is we're not actually bound to Yama. Because, I mean,
I didn't remember the lore.
Well, I mean, like, 'cause he's a master of contracts, right? Like that's what he does is he's like literally
making deals with the devil.
Literally the devil, and you like make contracts with him. But obviously, we are not contracted with him. And
Oathbreaker.
If you have the, you know, like the elite armor, then you definitely have overcome the contracts. So it would make even more sense for you to say that you're like an oath breaker of some kind. Maybe you're not breaking the oath, but I don't know. Also, these are like semantics, right?
Is Oathbreaker the name of the book in the series I'm reading?
Yeah, in the Stormlight Archive.
Yeah, as soon as it said Oathbreaker, I was like, that sounds really good. And I realized it's because of the book that I read.
Yeah.
Or is it Oathbringer? I don't know.
Warbringer.
Warbringer's the other one. Okay.
Yeah. But besides that, other people are calling it Oathkeeper, which I mean,
Oathkeeper and Oathbreaker could be too, because it's two different versions.
Yeah, like I don't know, whatever would make more sense thematically, you can call it whichever. Oath plate itself just seems kind of plain.
It is, oath something.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with the oaths?
But there was many people actually, whether it be like a white or a silver or a tan, a lot of people were kind of using the juxtaposition of the two colors. So a lot of people suggested the original color be like a darker one, and then the elite armor being a lighter color.
That'd be kind of cool.
Whether that be silver or white or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something that's different than the red to dark red.
Yeah, because honestly, it just like
I kind of like the idea of it starting out with a dark one and then it goes to like the white almost, because it's just like you're ascending past Yama and now like I don't know, you're like one-upping him. I don't know, because it's just like very knightly, isn't it?
I kind of like the symbolism, like kind of similar to how like Gandalf, how his ascension happened. For anyone that doesn't know, the Lord of the Rings,
spoiler,
Gandalf the Grey was obviously the gray, and then he like low-key essentially died and then like came back and ascended to Gandalf the White, becoming much more powerful than he previously was.
They should do exactly that, gray and white, and just have like the exam and text be referencing Gandalf somehow. Like, you shall
Oh,
not pass.
you shall not pass and go, you fools.
That would be so funny.
That would actually be
Are
insane.
you guys listening? Please do that. That'd be so good.
Yeah, that
you
would
love your
be-
little references in exam and text.
That would be crazy, actually,
Do
if they
it.
did that. That would be really cool. But I don't know if other people were thinking in that line, but that's kind of what I was thinking. So that would be cool. But let us know what you think. Do you like the initial concept? Do you like the plain what colors do you want the armor to be?
How do you like the actual design though?
I think
Aside from the color scheme.
I think the ornate nature of the second design, like the what I keep calling elite design,
Yeah.
more way cooler, just because it's
It's more
endgame.
spiky.
It's endgame gear. Like Torva looks ornate from the get go,
Yeah.
and then
The
whenever
first
you,
one doesn't look that ornate in the beginning.
yeah, and then whenever you get Blorva, it really doesn't make it more ornate. It just changes the color.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it gets more ornate is cool, but I think it should just kind of be that from the beginning because it is endgame armor.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, I guess at some point you can't follow that because you just can't get more and more ornate, and then you have like a whole like church on the back of you or something. Just
Yeah.
to, whenever you get to like super like years down the line.
So the one on the right would be the doing the awakened Yama or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Right. That's what people are assuming.
That would be really, I like the Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White idea.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That'd be so cool.
That would go super hard.
It would. Anyway, so they did put out a poll. So the poll's out right now if you want to go vote on all of this. We're confident that they're in a good place and we want to bring Yama to you as soon as we can. So we'd love to lock things in and get cooking. We're aware the likes of the Soul Flame Horn and Surge Potion could prove to be powerful in ways that aren't immediately obvious on paper. So we're entering this polling in the knowledge that we may have to make adjustments down the line. See, they're putting disclaimers now.
Yeah.
Because we used to say that they didn't. They are already saying you might get changes from what you voted on. So keep that in mind.
Well, I mean, that they should just put that on all of them forever.
Well, they do, but now they're like acknowledging
and
it.
into the past.
For the time being, we think we're offering a suitably powerful set of rewards from a tough boss and want to see where they're at. Oh my god, I cannot speak. But yeah, the poll's out. Go vote and let them know their ideas. I really like the gray and white one. I think that'd be so sick. So I'm gonna make us talk about that into a short just to be like, please.
Yeah.
Anything about Yama before we move on?
No, not about Yama, but
I'm like, I see you looking at something.
well, it is about sailing.
Oh, should we wait then?
No, it's about sailing. Well, it's just because we do talk about sailing here for like a second, and it kind of
Yeah, so going into the updates for tomorrow will be the sailing alpha.
it'll be interesting if I say this now and then this has some effect on my or other people's opinions later.
Okay, say it.
I think it'll be funny because this is from a Reddit thread talking about a lot of sailors hate or a lot of sailing haters are uninformed was the name of the post.
Okay.
And they were just kind of talking about that, saying like people are equating it to EOC, and
I think that's kind of a goofy comparison, to be fair.
And I thought it was kind of interesting what Mod Husky has to say.
Oh.
For anyone that doesn't know, not that it really matters. I really, not only, but I really primarily
Like respect their opinion.
Primarily value Kieran and Husky's takes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're pretty well balanced.
He agrees more.
I think they're usually pretty well balanced. I
Yeah.
haven't fully read this, so I don't even know how
Halfway
much.
through reading this, you're like, wait, I don't believe this at all.
Yeah, I really don't know how much I believe in this. But
Okay, let's go.
he said, in all honesty, to some extent, I think every player is uninformed. Yes, and no voters.
Mm-hmm.
While we've had a ton of player feedback during development, it's been through closed NDA playtests. It still hasn't really surfaced with the general community. That is what I hope the alpha will accomplish the most, resetting it so that we're all on the same page. I spoke to hundreds of players at RuneFest, yes and no voters alike, and the biggest thing seemed to be just vibes. People liked the sailing vibe and voted yes. People disliked the vibe and voted no.
Yeah.
Or they disliked the vibe but trusted us, so voted yes regardless. Something I repeated a ton to players is Event Blog 17 doesn't change an opinion someone had when they read blog 16. I don't even know what that is in
I
reference
think
to.
it just means like small things don't change people's opinion.
Yeah, maybe. And I think that's so true for sailing. Even the few gameplay snippets we've shown of in-game work don't fully capture the feeling of being on a boat and sailing around to see how it fits into the game. Anyways, to avoid a long ramble, all this to say, whether you're a yes or no voter or a Gothic sympathetic, we really ask that anyone who is mildly interested give it a chance, jump into the alpha, and then give your feedback.
Cool. I think that's all very valid, actually.
Yeah.
Because, like, we can only say so much as outsiders who have not tried it.
Yeah, I agree to some extent. I don't know. It's funny because we were just talking about this the other day, but it's hard. It is annoying going into sailing because I still think that shamanism was just a cooler idea in general.
Yeah.
And the
I
fact
still
that
agree.
I saw it this morning, which is also why I wanted to bring it up. The crazy part is that it only lost by 3%.
We're still hung up on that.
It's
I am too. I was
crazy.
thinking about earlier today.
Yeah, it's still so crazy.
Background is they were like, which skills do you want? And I don't. I'm not the only
It
one
was
who.
multiple choice.
Yeah, I'm not the one who thought this. Who thought that they were narrowing it down and we were gonna vote again, essentially,
I thought so as well.
or that I think I thought we were gonna get another blog based on that.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that whoever got the most votes there was the new skill, and yeah, there's like a 3% difference that sailing won. And a lot of people, myself included, kind of were like annoyed that they didn't re-poll it because we don't know where all those the bestiary whatever.
No,
We're
yeah,
all,
the
we
animal
didn't-
husbandry or
Yeah,
whatever.
the animal husbandry. Like we didn't know where all those votes were gonna go. Sailing probably still would have won, but we don't know that.
Yeah, I
So
don't
it's
know.
just kind of annoying that we didn't get that re-vote to see like for sure. Like it was 3%.
Yeah.
It was so close. And there's so many points, or sorry, so many votes that were either I don't want a new skill or I want this other skill. So I'm like, where would all of those votes fall in? It still haunts me.
Yeah. I mean, I get where he's coming from in this, and that like a lot of people are just saying things, obviously, because I mean, yeah, literally no one's played it, so you can
Mhm.
only say things. You can't like say that you've done things. But I don't know. I get it, but also I kind of feel like that's like potentially too dismissive of like people that have been following it
Mhm.
and still are apprehensive. I also feel like potentially that just might be due to a lack of communication.
I don't know, because I mean, apparently on the Discord, they're always talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think I just think I kind of agree that it's hard for anyone to assume what the actual play is gonna feel like based on, like a 3-second GIF showing it.
Yeah.
Which is valid. So I'm excited. I hope I'm able to try it before we record tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna try it this weekend, if not, and let you guys know tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or next week.
I think it'll be, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I do think sailing will be, accepted, but I low key think that's kind of like not a real concern because like honestly, I think they would one push ahead and two just people would be kind of fine with whatever, even if it was taming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure to some extent
Oh, it was
people
taming, huh?
yeah, I'm sure to some extent people will just mostly be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, shamanism was my first pick. I couldn't even decide during that one poll. That's why I voted for both.
Yeah.
But even that one, the taming sounded fun to me.
Yeah.
Less fun, but
Mostly I kind of feel like I kind of from what I've seen, just obviously on feedback and stuff like that, I also think it's like wrong to assume that yes noters and no voters can be swayed at all.
Mhm.
And that like yes are just saying yes really because they want a skill, and no are saying no because they don't
really
want a
don't want a skill.
And it's not any like nuances in between that. It just seems like there's so many people that do or don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like
And
that. I know people that stopped playing because the new skill got voted in.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
he's right in that like it won't make a difference between one blog to the next. I think people's minds are just mostly made up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know.
I think we'll just have to check where we are in a year, Loki, and see how people are feeling then.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Mhm.
Let us know where you stand. Are you excited about sailing?
Especially if you've tried the alpha. If you guys can like reply on Spotify or comment on YouTube, like I want to know people's thoughts that have tried the alpha. And then, future me who's also tried the alpha can like think about that more.
Yeah, and the only reason I
Cool.
brought that up just now is because this week's blog does start out by saying that this sailing alpha is tomorrow.
Hmm.
From right now, obviously, in a few minutes, you'll hear what we have to say about it.
We have some other little updates first, though. So, clan event updates. You can select Phantom Muspa, Huey, Amoxicillin, and Royal Titans when creating or editing events. Plus, we've added a to be confirmed option to give your clan more flexibility in planning. These changes should make organizing bossing events a little bit easier. It's kind of funny that before you had to choose a date,
Yeah,
no tentative planning.
and that is, before we move on, that is the whole update except for
Other changes.
Other changes.
There is a quick little merch update. So last chance to order your official RuneFest t-shirts, hoodies, and skill chip box. You do need to have a RuneFest ticket booking reference number in order to get these items.
So that's so foolish.
You could just ask your friends that went.
That is so
just,
foolish.
Just ask your friends that win if you really want something. That's so goofy to me.
Yeah, that it's like, why even make them available outside of the fest if people that went to the fest are the only ones that can buy them? If they wanted them, they would have bought them there.
I feel like this is the hint, though. If you didn't buy your ticket yourself, ask the person who did buy your ticket for the booking reference number. I think that's a hint saying you could just ask your friends who went.
That's just so foolish.
You know
just
what
sell
they
the
did it?
T-shirt.
They probably just had a bunch of overstock left.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we have to still make it seem exclusive. There's also a 10th RuneFest. That one actually looks really pretty.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're busy celebrating RuneFest at home, you can still commemorate our 10th birthday with a special tee. That's one that looks kind of cool. Logos from RuneFest Pass feature on the front with the locations of all 10 events on the back. Available in size small to 4XL. Where are all of them? They were in London in the past.
Yeah, they were all in London except for the last 3.
If they're in Borough. Okay. I was trying to say dramatically. Again, last chance for Youtooz. And then small little changes, starting out with client and mobile. So pop-out panels in mobile now retain their scroll position when selecting other UI elements and no longer shift upwards after scrolling to the bottom, ensuring a smoother UI experience.
Yeah, that's it. The rest are other changes, the infamous other changes. We have the removal of the birthday event.
Fix the bug where Hoffathand occasionally failed to display the price window.
And this is kind of a big one, I guess. The Dragon Sword and Hosta special attack now work correctly in PvP when your opponent isn't using overheads for melee.
That's pretty ideal for them to work how they're supposed to.
Ideally.
The special attack of the Abyss of Legend can once again give its damage increase effect in PVM.
And they fixed some of Princess Astrid's dialogue during the Throne of Miscellanea.
Last thing, they changed the PvP arena to Amir's arena in the jewelry box interface. I have noticed that recently. I'm like, it's kind of weird that it still says that. So that's probably going to confuse me at first whenever I go to Telly there for clues.
Yep.
But kind of cool. Why does that feel like most... what's the best part of this update for me is weirdly that jewelry box update.
That is weird, but it's it's not uncommon for the other changes.
Yeah. And because nothing else is relevant.
My favorite is the fact that they make things work, like the Dragon Sword and the Hosta.
These things work correctly.
Those are my favorite because that's how they should be.
How long were they not working correctly? Is what I always wonder.
It has been years.
But yeah, that's it for this update, and then moving into sailing.
Fingers crossed. And we're back.
Hello.
It is the next day, and we have both tried sailing.
Yeah. Neither of us for too long. I did it for half an hour. Robert did it for...
I did it for like 5 minutes just to make sure. I just wanted to confirm it felt the way people were saying it felt.
Yeah. But we keep going to the blog before we talk about what we think?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a blog covering all of this in extensive words. Way too many words than necessary. Typical. Yeah.
So we're going to go over the new stuff, but at least half of this we covered last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So go listen there. We're going to just skim over it and talk about it a little bit, but we're not going to read it as detailed as we did previously.
Yeah, I was going to say also you can kind of just jump into the alpha and don't even need to read this. This is just definitely an overview type of thing. If you jump into the alpha, you'll very quickly just find all of this out.
What I was so surprised by is there's not that much people in the alphas.
Well, yeah, the thing is you do it for like 5 minutes to an hour if you're a normal human, and then
Well, there's
that's
so
it.
much people, they're just like dropping stuff and hanging out.
Well, yeah.
But I was surprised, like, this is gonna sound so optimistic, but whenever I logged in, I was like, oh, beta world or alpha world, whatever, and I turned it to the most popular world, assuming you'd be up there.
Yeah.
The most popular had 700, which is still a lot of people, but I'm like, I just know there's gonna be a lot of people who don't try it and also have strong opinions.
Yeah, sure. I was kind of surprised. Like, I went through and was watching people do it today, just
Mhm.
like throughout the day, and there was like very few people actually doing it for like any reasonable, or not reasonable, but for any extended amount of time. Like I said, it just seemed like people popped in for maybe, it seemed like probably 20 minutes on average, got the vibe of what's going on, and that was it.
Yeah, I thought I'd do the whole thing. There's still some stuff I want to do because I only did the quest. I think I want to maybe try Barracuda triangles.
You need to get to level 30.
Is it called triangle trials? But yeah, I'd have to get to level 30. And the funny thing about the alpha is it makes you remember that they just tricked you into skilling.
I
And
mean,
I'm like,
yeah,
not today.
yeah, pretty much.
Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, I don't know if I'll actually want to do that, but maybe I'll like watch someone do it.
Yeah, one, it is skilling, and two, it is alpha, so it's not like
It's
you're
not
gonna,
even like polished skilling.
it's not good skilling. You're not gonna be able to take the XP home. So a lot of people I saw jumped in, checked it out for, like I said, 5 minutes to 30 minutes, and then they went onto their main.
Yeah, you just need to make sure the vibe's right.
Yeah,
I think the vibe's right, but we can go into the vlog first.
yeah,
So PSA, kind of like what we just said, we've polished the alpha as much as possible, but this is an alpha. It is not a finished skill. If you encounter unfinished issues, you can use the in-game bug report form to let the team know what's wrong. We'll hotfix what we can. The larger fixes or feedback points will need to come via future builds. You can find the in-game report button on your chat box. It's the red button. You just right-click that if you guys didn't know. Also, for future reference, it's handy to know. There's been a few so far, so we can just go back and forth on these.
yeah. There's just 3 bug fixes and responses, or bugs, reports, and responses. The first one being that the global best Barracuda trial time is not showing. This is something they'll work and fix on for launch.
Yeah, it's not, you don't get that in beta worlds.
Yeah.
Some players on Runelite report not being able to see their boats. We find relogging fixes this issue. If that doesn't work, try to disable any Runelite plugins that affect graphics. I had to turn off HD. It was sad.
Oh,
I didn't try
why?
logging in and out.
Why'd you have to turn off HD?
I can't see my boat without HD off.
Oh, I didn't have that problem.
Yeah. I guess maybe I should have just logged in and out. I'll try again.
Weird.
But yeah, during the quest though, I couldn't find people without HD on because I'm like, my God, this game is ugly without HD. So I turned it on when I was docked and then turned it off whenever I was on the boat.
Yeah. Besides that, there is a ton of different places that players can get stuck on.
Yep.
Whether it just be themselves or with their boats, and they're just making a list and they'll, try to fix this. For now, there are ways to escape. Literally, there's an unstuck, escape, and reverse button. So you can get those to work, and they will certainly take you back to shore, but there is a cooldown. And that's being bypassed on the beta worlds right now. In the real game, they said that there's going to be a cooldown associated with this.
Yeah, so you can't, it's not just like a free telly.
Yeah.
But I did use it because I also got stuck on the boat.
Yeah, a lot of people get stuck. So
And I was like, it's kind of annoying because I was like, I don't want to have to go do this again.
yeah, and there's some places that you can get stuck, kind of just with your boat, and you can't turn around, and in that case, you'll have to also use it.
Yeah. Anyway, so you saw it at RuneFest. Now's your chance to try the sailing alpha at home. So the open sailing playtest is packed with exciting high seas adventure. Start off on a teeny tiny raft and improve your skill as a sailor until you eventually become an experienced captain. I think it's to level 30 in the alpha.
30 is the max for the alpha.
Yeah, so on your journey, you'll dive with mermaids, chase ducks, and explore the far reaches of the ocean. Many roads lead to 99, but the path you choose is up to you, and you cannot start that path until probably later this year. But you can like do a little baby path, a little walkies.
Yeah.
Little walkies alpha.
They say it takes approximately 75 minutes to quote unquote complete.
I don't believe that. That quest took me half an hour. I had to look it up on the wiki because I was space barring. And then this guy was like, go get my cargo. And I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
So I had to look it up on the wiki.
Even if you do read it, I saw some people, honestly, this is kind of like, I don't even know if it like they're being facetious or if they're kind of just like being elitist, but they're like, oh, some people are complaining about the quest being 5 minutes. The quest is long. As far as like you being able to use this skill, and this is a requirement, it's just a long quest. Like compare it to the herb lore quest, it takes like a minute
If
to do
I,
the herblore
I thought
quest.
the herbal quest was annoying. Or am I thinking a different one that rewards herbal?
No, the one that is the herblore quest, you just pretty much go to the druids at the altar, and then they
Hmm.
unlock it for you pretty much immediately.
Well, I would like to compare it to Poor Sign of Interest in its defense because while that's an easy quest, we played that when we already knew everything about Slayer.
You don't need it to unlock Slayer.
Okay, but you know what I mean? Like Poor Sign of Interest is considered an entry level for Slayer.
I guess so, but
It's supposed to be
there's
like
only two
introductory.
skills that require unlocking, and that's runecrafting and herblore.
Yeah,
And both of those quests are significantly shorter than this one.
but you know what I mean? Like how that one. What I was going to say is sailing's brand new. We know nothing about it, so
Yeah.
it's going to seem harder because no one's like, oh, I've seen someone do this, or I've done this on 5 other accounts.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of imagine the other ones how they would be initially too.
No.
Also, quests take me a long time, so I won't judge that. They
No,
always do.
I was gonna say I know what you mean, and I think it's too long. Even if you knew what you were doing, it would still take you like actually physically to move to the correct areas and do the correct dialogue, fully spacebarring. Knowing what you're doing would take longer than any of the other intro quests
Yeah.
by a lot.
You do have to travel from like the Pandemonium or whatever to Port Sarim and back, which was kind of annoying because I mean, I've talked about it many times. I hate running in this game and clicking around while sailing's kind of the same. Can't wait for sailing tellies.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be doing mini games to level, that's for sure. So yeah, that part was kind of annoying, but
Yeah, to put it into perspective, I'm not complaining because it takes a long time in general. It only really roughly takes, 10 minutes if you know what you're doing, 20 if you don't.
30 if you're
But
me.
yeah, 30 if you're you and you're doing it blind or something. But for every other quest, it's like 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Or the other two skills, which is not many.
I could see them changing in game some of the dialogue and stuff to make it shorter.
It's
or
mostly
some of the steps.
it's mostly one, if you did read it, it does take a long time. There's a lot
I was trying
of
to
lines.
initially, to be fair. So maybe it would have taken less than 30 if I
Yeah.
had been spacebarring, but I was reading initially.
Like it's a lot of flavor text. So, I mean, obviously, if you
Mm-hmm.
like the lore or whatever or world building, then that'll be cool for you. But there's just a lot of lines of text for an entry level quest.
There are some parts though where there's lore, but they basically give you the option if you want to hear it or not, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah,
Because they
that's
don't
nice.
usually do that. So,
Yeah, all this to say that 75 minutes to complete is,
a lie.
yeah, that's just straight up not true.
Big ol' lie.
75 minutes, maybe if you're trying to like complete exploring the skill and doing the quest, but if you're trying to get the skill to level 30 and fully explore it, including Barracuda Trials, it'll take you, probably double that time.
Which is funny of us to say because to be fair, neither of us went past the quest. What if it was all like super dead easy?
No, I mean, I've seen people say it takes around an hour and a half,
Okay.
which is, I mean, not much longer, but it's definitely longer than 75 minutes if they
Yeah.
to get to level 30. And the rates, for anyone wondering, Mod Husky already, I mean, this should be just,
It's in the blog as well.
this should just be known, but Mod Husky also confirmed on stream that none of these XP rates actually matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not real.
Temporary things.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
true.
Or don't get excited if you like it.
And also, if you do think about it, 75 minutes or even an hour and a half to get a skill to 30 is still pretty, in the grand scheme of things, that's fast.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of worth at least putting a little bit of time to make sure that either you like it or that you have good feedback to give them to make sure it's a good skill rather than, it being bad because people don't try it.
Yeah.
Go try the alpha is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might as well jump in. As soon as you jump in and make your character, it automatically teleports you to the dock, and then you can begin the quest.
I was so worried about that because you make your character and then it had the arrow above at the tutorial island, and I was like, no way, I have to talk to this guy. And
Yeah.
they're telling me away, and I was like, oh, good.
And it doesn't really matter what your character looks like. They did a thing specifically for the beta worlds only, where you make your character and it just gets a randomized sailor's outfit.
Which I didn't know I was actually chosen outfit.
Yeah,
I forgot you told me that earlier.
Even if you choose an outfit, it doesn't matter. It gets randomized. It's kind of just a cool, funny thing that they did for the beta or for the alpha specifically. This won't obviously happen going forward.
That'd be cute in the game if they just like put you in random pirate gear.
Yeah.
I like it. So some of you still have questions or concerns about sailing, and that's exactly why this alpha matters. It's your chance to get hands-on and experience the skill for yourself. You already know how sailing looks in blogs or videos, but you just scrolled right past where I was reading. But we want to know how it feels when you're playing it. We make content for you, and we care about your feedback. Give it a chance, yada yada. It'll take 70 minutes.
Yeah, I was like, this is all
That's a
we
lie.
just said.
There is a video though, an explanation of what the alpha is by Guns Chili and Gentle Tractor. If you guys want to watch that.
Yeah. Besides that, though, the stuff that Mod Light that I mentioned shared earlier in this podcast, they actually have it here.
Yeah,
And
this is
these
made by
are,
Uber.
yeah, these are the slides that she shared, and it's just telling you everything that you can expect. Like it's also asking you, what do you think, to give feedback. What do you think of the
Cute.
wind mechanics, ship customization, the introductory quests? So if you do think it's too long as well, you can leave some feedback there.
I could see that getting changed for sure.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it straight up is too. It's longer than any of the other ones. I think it's too long. Maybe not by a lot, but it definitely is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you feel the same, then you can give your feedback, and you can also they just in words tell you all the stuff like shipwreck salvaging, port task, and charting the sea.
We could should we read oh no, let's read through the alpha stuff first.
Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of
I'm
stuff.
getting ahead of myself.
We're gonna go over this a bunch of times.
Okay, so getting started, this alpha is available on PC via RuneLite, Java, or the official C++ client. It is not available on mobile. I was actually like telling Robert, like, you should try it on mobile at work because he said it's really slow. Thankfully, he didn't get like super excited and decide to do that because he would have been disappointed.
Yep.
You do need a member's account, but you can simply select a Sailing Alpha playtest world from the world selection menu and log in to begin the testing. It's going to put you straight into Port Sarum, which is where you start the quest by talking to Will and Anne. As you're using a beta world, there are 2 buttons under the settings menu that will be useful to know. First is convert save to beta worlds. This works from regular worlds and will copy or your save over to the beta worlds, so just like your main account. The other is reset beta world save. This works directly from beta worlds and will allow you to reset your save so you can replay the alpha once you hit level 30.
Yeah,
Neither of these you want to keep doing it.
Neither of these are pretty much at all useful for a normal human in this particular beta world.
Someone is definitely going to reset the beta world to make a guide for the quest.
Yeah, like I said, the normal human will not be using these. They do have some feedback, though. These are 2 bugs that already... so, obviously, this is an alpha. They are going to have bugs, and they want your feedback in these bugs. There's already been 2 bugs that they are already aware of since RuneFest. The first one is that you can get stuck on objects or land. You can use the reverse or escape, like we mentioned earlier, by right-clicking on the helm of the boat, and you can get out of there. Also, there's a bug in the beta worlds causing boats to only move in one direction, but this has been fixed.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
At RuneFest, players most often misclick their sails and cause their boat to stop unintentionally. Players would also sometimes stop their boats when they click the sails multiple times during the speed up window of opportunity. Ideally, we want to have navigational parity so that everything you can do in game, you can also do via the side panel. Due to the amount of misclicks that we saw, we have made unsetting the sail a right-click function instead. So no, spam clicking is not going to like screw you over.
Yeah, because for anyone that hasn't jumped in, you set the sail in order to actually catch wind and start moving at all. And then as soon as you unset the sail, immediately you stop moving.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. And it kept getting unset. And I kept clicking me like, am I stuck? Why aren't I moving?
No, yeah.
Whoops. Where was I? As a result of this change, reversing your sail can currently only be done via the side panel. You'll only need to reverse your sails when you get stuck, so it shouldn't happen often enough that you really need to left click that. But if you really want to, you can go and change that with menu entry swapper.
Yeah. Also, the trim sails function will now only be left click when the sails can be trimmed.
Oh yeah.
This helps to avoid double clicking accidentally when there's another boat on top of you or something like that, or to stop the boat.
I kept getting so scared running where someone else was going, and like our boats were gonna smash together.
Yeah.
But you just kind of like go over each other.
You just phase through each other.
It feels scary
like
though.
Walking normally.
I'm like, oh no.
Also, they say additionally, some of the sea charting activities felt a little confusing for players since they didn't know if they're in the right location. So there's a new visual indicator for the current duck, obviously literally a duck, and spyglass locations.
I need to unlock him.
They've been added to resolve this. So they've also expanded the range at which you can use the tools required, so it's a little bit easier, in particular the weather station activity from the troll meteorologist. Also, they say that another issue they found at RuneFest was that players couldn't easily find shipwrecks.
I just kept thinking they're normal boats.
Yeah. So to help with this, they added new graphics to make them more visually distinct. So
And I still thought they were normal boats because I'm not observant.
okay. And then one final addition is they've adjusted some elements in the side panel to make it more intuitive. The arrows are up and down to show speed rather than left and right. And they will.
Do you want to go faster or slower? Let's go left.
Let's go right. They will also show visual feedback when you're at the max or the slowest speed. In the future, we'd like to do more with the side panel, such as integrating the captain's log that you're so that you're not forced to keep it in your inventory. So
Kind of like collection log.
that's just a little list of things they've already improved since RuneFest, which is quite a bit.
Yeah. How and where to leave your feedback on the alpha. So the best place to start for bug reports would be the in-game feature that we mentioned before. We also encourage feedback from everyone on the Sailing Alpha. Throughout this week and next, we'll keep a close eye on feedback and address major points from the survey and other platforms in a Sailing Discord stage Q&A sometime next week. Soon TM. To join the Sailing Discord, there is a link. We're going to put the link to the blog post in the description, and then you can find it from there. It's like a link within a link within a link. You guys are smart. You can do it.
I mean, that's just how they do their surveys.
Yeah, they always do. I liked it whenever they were putting it in the blog post below it. That was cool. We'll even take player questions live. Many of you have questions or suggestions about future content being added to Sailing, and we'll do our best to answer them.
True.
Do you want to take over?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I was watching the cat.
I know. I saw you looking at her, and I was like, "Oh, why? She's just cute."
Why did you just did the thing that teachers do when like clearly the student is like paying attention to something else, and you're like calling them out. You want to pick up where we're reading? oh, you don't know where we are? Oh, maybe you should pay attention.
I was like, oh, maybe he's bored and he wants to talk. Also, Goose messed up my leg, you guys. There's a picture on Discord. She was laying on my leg, and Moose was behind us, and her tail was dangling, and he went for her tail like playfully, and she dug her nails into my leg to jump off of me.
And you saw this happen.
Yeah, I saw him staring at her tail, and I was just like, I didn't think about what was about to happen until it happened.
Yeah. Anyways, they do say bear in mind that there are some changes that they simply cannot fix via hotfix. So obviously, maybe that'll be picked up in the beta. So just give them some feedback, and hopefully it'll be fixed next time.
It is the alpha as well. They're not going to do huge updates for the alpha.
Yeah.
That's kind of necessary. Moving on to what content we are getting for the alpha. First is going to be Pandemonium, the new quest. This one you can start, like I said, by talking to Will and Anne, who can be found on the docks of Port Sarum. I just completed this quest. It's the one that took me 30 minutes. You know what confused me a lot is when you're sailing, whenever you're like hovering in a direction, it shows arrows to show where you're hovering.
Yep.
I thought that was telling me where to go.
Oh.
It took me a very long time to be like, that arrow changes direction every time I move.
Yeah,
because it just kept going one way. So I was like, we're going for the arrow. We're following the arrow.
Yeah, so to quickly describe how sailing actually works, anyone that hasn't done it, you simply click in a direction, and around your boat, around the circumference of the bottom of your boat, there is a little arrow indicating which direction that'll be.
Not telling where you're supposed to be going.
So you don't actually have to like zoom all the way out and be like, I want to go to port wherever, and then you have to like click in the direction of the port. You can just be like, oh, it's north. I'm gonna click north.
Yeah.
And so
whoops.
Yeah, there's a little arrow indicating that. So, and it'll just keep going. You don't actually click like how you walk. You just click in a direction, it'll go forever.
Which I am not used to. I kept clicking.
Yeah, some people I saw also had troubles like stopping. Like they forgot that the boat would just keep going.
Yeah, you have to stop the sail or untrim it or whatever.
You have to unset the sails in order to actually stop.
I was like, you can't really untrim something. Sew it back on.
Yeah.
Easy. After completing this quest, you're going to receive a captain's log, which you can use to track port tasks and other details of life at sea. If you ever lose the log, you can open the cargo hold and click or right-click the duck button to reclaim it.
Yeah.
What else would you click?
I'm glad that they're going to hopefully make this part of the UI, because holding on to a captain's log the whole time sounds lame.
Yeah. That reminds me of like the collections log. Like, didn't people used to have to look at the actual book?
Yeah, it was a book.
Ooh, disgusting.
I think it still is a book.
It is still a book. Because I got it before and I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it's still a book. I was going to say boat because we're about to talk about boats. So there are 2 boats that you can get in the actual alpha itself. The very beginner one, which is a raft, and then at level 10, you do get access to a small boat, which in the alpha, I think, is free. So you could just get it. Cool. Usually it does obviously cost other things,
I
but
only have the baby raft.
yes, you can just get it for free.
You also get a shipwright. Wow, there's more that you can do than I remember. I
No, so
I truly did not do much in this
Mhm.
alpha.
After you talk to Shipwright Sam, he'll give you everything you need for sailing. And once you're on a boat, you can click the helm and enter navigation mode. This is all stuff that will be told to you whenever you actually do the tutorial. And it says that every 30 seconds or so, you'll get a 10-second gust of wind around your sails.
Yeah, the little picture looks like the air rune icon. Because I
Yeah.
was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's not very. I wish they were kind of like,
It,
overtly like, oh, the first time you've sailed, there's an arrow pointing at the thing saying this indicates when the next gust will be.
Mhm.
Because
I was confused whether there's a rune.
you weren't the only one confused. A lot of people were confused. I watched Foe do the quest through completion this morning, and
Mhm.
he also just straight up didn't trim his sails almost ever because he just didn't know when to.
I think it does end up saying in your chat.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
know.
that's how I noticed it. No, oh, and then there's a crafting icon in the corner too. That's when you're supposed to trim them. To be fair, alpha, who knows
Yeah.
if that's really what it's gonna look like. But
Yeah.
right now it wasn't very clear to me.
It's crazy. We have like all this room in front of us, and you've hit my mic twice.
I'm just like so
Yeah,
enthusiastic.
it's crazy. But anyways, if you are unaware, like Michelle, then now hopefully they might improve it because yeah, a lot of people didn't seem to notice that when the air rune shows up, you have to click your sails because like I
It's not
mentioned.
obvious.
I mentioned to you this morning, whenever the sails need to be trimmed, it has a cool animation, but I think there needs to be a color
Oh,
associated
I
with
didn't
it.
notice. I'm sure that that's
Yeah,
something that will come with the game is like kind of like agility, like you can get everything highlighted.
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be
maybe.
similar.
But the currently as it is for um it like the
Sailing.
the air rune icon does show up every 30 seconds, and it's like now you can trim your sails. Like whenever you hover over your sail, it says trim and it just goes. But your sail also starts like wavering.
They said the animation we obviously should have no trouble spotting it. I
It
didn't
is
notice it.
not
I did not.
obvious at all.
I think they're doing that thing where they've seen it so many times. They're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it
I'm just
is.
confused about all these other boats surrounding me. I'm not looking at my
The
own.
reason it's not obvious is because there's not a big change in color. So if you get a white piece of paper, for example, and just turn it into a wavy piece of paper, it's not very easy to notice unless you are obviously the one doing it. Like from
Yeah.
far away, that just looks like a weird piece of paper.
It is kind of fun in a way to see what things they think is so obvious that are actually not obvious unless
Yeah.
you're involved. It's
Okay.
interesting.
I honestly only really, because I do think modders will just make it way more visible
Yeah.
almost immediately, but I honestly am just like more concerned for like people that are like visually impaired. Even
Yeah.
in the slightest, it is just hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one
It's
of the things.
so obvious.
Also, there's another thing on board that you can eventually put on board. So there is the salvaging hook. There's also a chest that you can put on board.
A cargo
Also,
hold?
there is a wind catcher facility.
Oh.
This will actually like contain a speed boost for you that you can use later on, and that'll just boost up your
Oh.
boat for even longer.
You know what's kind of cool is that we read all this, but now that we've played for a little bit, I'm like, oh, I could see why that's handy.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I wouldn't really think about it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now I understand it better.
And that all of those things I just mentioned are part of ship customization, which is another thing they talk about, which is pretty much just they call it customization, but really it's just
It's your
upgrading your
POH
ship.
of the ocean.
Yeah, really it's just upgrading your ship. The base one only comes with the ability to put on a storage, and that's where you'll do the original like quest whenever you unlock sailing is really just you are FedEx.
Kind of. But there's a drama in the beginning.
No, I mean like whenever you start leveling the skill. The only things
Oh, I think
available
in the quest.
The only things available to you when you start leveling the skill is sometimes they give you Slayer type tasks, and sometimes they give you FedEx tasks where you're just delivering parcels.
Or you could trim your sails over and
So-
over whenever they need it.
Yeah, you could just trim your sails over and over. But yeah, so essentially that's just how the beginning of the thing is. So you'll only unlock like a chest to put the cargo in for your FedEx deliveries.
Well, you're also, I don't think it's a thing in the alpha, but you're able to do like the exploring for XP and adding it to your log.
Oh yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you can do that in
Um,
here too.
I don't remember if this is a thing or not, but whenever it's in game, won't we be getting XP like as we move around? Or no, because you don't actually have to keep clicking. You can just click once and go AFK.
Yeah,
That could be
no.
abused. Never
Yeah,
mind.
the only way to get XP while just going around is by actually trimming your sails.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Besides the facilities, like I mentioned, though, being the salvaging hook, the chest, as well as the air catcher, uh, you also can upgrade your keel, hull, sail, or helm, and you can use the ship's rights customized boat option in order to do that. And this is not actually an addition to the boat; it just changes the look of it.
Yeah, they do. They don't mention it here, but they show on the picture they have is like probably also to put cannons on your boat too.
Yeah, eventually you will be able to do cannons on the boat. There is no actual combat with the boat in the alpha, unfortunately.
Maybe in the beta.
Yeah. So besides that, though, they do, like I said, go through, they say the salvaging hook, iron and bronze, wind catcher, and you can also do cargo hold, oak mast, and anchor in the alpha itself. There's going to be more stuff, but it's not all here.
Cool. Multiplayer. So these features are still in early development, but the alpha does have something for you to try. You'll be able to join your friends' boats and make use of their facilities as you sail together. I don't think we even read this last week. I think this is new. Just make sure you have the right sailing level, and you'll be able to sail and salvage shipwrecks while aboard your friends' boats. We've also created a new solution for having too many ships crowding your screen. So the game will render up to 25 ships at one time, and a new shadow will appear beneath your boat to indicate when a fellow sailor is on top of you. Ooh.
Yeah.
When a seaman is on top of you.
Okay, you're a sicko. But yeah, that's kind of how it is in general. Everything that is described, except for other people being on your boat, is how it looks when other people are near you. They just like phase through you, and there's a shadow under you to indicate they're there.
I wonder how many people you could have on one boat.
I
It's just
don't
two.
know.
It might just be two for now.
I don't know. I think it depends on the size of the boat.
Okay.
Maybe.
I want to be like POHs, just tons of people.
Just 30 people. Eventually, I do think, they don't say here, but I do think they intend for other people to be able to like maintain the facilities on your boat. Like if you're doing the salvaging, one can be navigating, one can be salvaging, or whatever, stuff like that. Like you can be using multiple facilities.
Skill boosting.
Yeah, true.
World map and new areas. So we have turned the existing blue tiles of the world map into something extra special, being shallow open and deep seas. At this time, the changes are purely cosmetic and won't affect your boat speed or the ability to sail through them. But whenever it's added to the game, you will not be able to enter certain areas. There is one exception. That's in the hazardous waters you'll encounter in Barracuda trials. You didn't get there, did you?
I know of it.
I went there. There was little, looked like Temperos pools, and I was like, am I at Tempe? No.
You are, actually.
I just kept sailing through, getting shocked by lightning, and I was like, I'm over this. This arrow's not even guiding me where I need to go.
No,
and I just went and did it until it killed my boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever happens whenever you go to the first Barracuda trial, there's going to be multiple, but there's only one available in the alpha, and it actually is surrounding Temperosa's Island, which is why there are whirlpools as well as thunderclouds, exactly like in Temperos, that can affect your ship.
Yeah, I was too low level to actually do the Barracuda trial. So I just wandered over there and like died.
You can get through the storm going like south.
Yeah, it was like going back and forth.
Yeah, going north to south or south to north. You can do it if you have like boosts and stuff like that on the raft.
Wait for the wind.
If you just don't want to deal with that, then you can upgrade your ship and you can go through it easily.
Cool. What's next? The Pandemonium.
The Pandemonium.
Pandemonium is a great place to start your venture, but you can also sail over to the Great Conch
Horn of the Tortugas. Ooh, like that.
Yeah, home of the Tortugans, although it won't be accessible in this playtest. I thought they said it would. You'll want to keep an eye out for other points of interest at sea too, including Last Light, Charred Island, Isle of Bones, which was previously called the End Island, and Dognose Island.
That's what they call me.
Okay. Islands are not the main focus of the Sailing Alpha, so this is just a small taste of what they'll eventually be, but in the future, they'll contain content for existing skills and feed into the reward space for sailing. So it's going to be a lot cooler later. Even though I thought they were going to have the Tortugans, I'm glad they're not, because I'm very excited for that specifically.
Yeah.
To see that main game. And I'm like, keep that. Just hold on to that until we get it.
Other things that you can do, because obviously islands aren't really available, is you can do port tasks. So they are lower intensity training methods. This is kind of just what you'll be doing in general. If you are actively, yes, this is the FedEx. If you are actively training the skill, this is what you're going to be doing. if you're not doing Barracuda trials.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go between the Pandemonium, Port Sarim, and Catherby. You'll get more areas unlocked as you level up, but since the level cap is 30, you don't have access to Port Khazard or the Ruins of Unka.
Mm-hmm.
You will eventually, though, which will open up more FedEx options. And in here, like I said, there are FedEx options, but there are also a few tasks that just tell you to go to this place and kill these things.
Oh, like little Slayer tasks.
Yeah, kind of like Slayer
That's
tasks.
cool.
And you just go
And you
from...
get to choose, though. It's not like Slayer where you have to do it.
Yes, you do choose. So if you don't want to do those, you can just only do the FedEx stuff if you want to.
Yeah.
And you can cancel port tasks in the port task interface, which is found in the captain's log.
They do say that they are still working on a design for like choosing the task, because before they were like, we're just going to have repeatable ones that can change daily, but we don't want that. So they're still working on what exactly we're going to get instead.
Yeah. Also, they say that they designed it so that the tasks would change frequently to keep things fresh, but without being frustrating. So hopefully they'll continue to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
However, you did raise that this approach might limit your desire to place on certain days, and we completely agree because they wanted it to remain consistent, like you just mentioned. So hopefully they find a way to please everyone.
I'm not trying to show off, but like, do you see me not reading word for word and trying to wing it?
And that was crazy.
Yeah, you wouldn't even read it because you're like, she just skipped all this. So you read it. Who's the Joker now?
Oh, yeah.
Who's the fool? The Joker. I don't think that's what people say.
I don't know.
You're a real joker guy.
Oh, cool. Well, she just calls me a joke. That's cool.
I know, that's why I love the Joker.
Something that's not a joke is going to be shipwreck salvaging. This is actually just going to be pretty much your primary... What?
The picture. I said I couldn't even tell which ones were the shipwrecks.
They're clearly broken
boats. It looks
boats.
like a skeleton of a boat.
Yeah, clearly they are sunken ships.
I couldn't even tell because there were so many other boats surrounding it.
Yeah?
Oh my god.
That's really
I'm gonna
good.
log back in.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be your AFK activity. You just go to a boat and then you begin salvaging it. So your cargo hold holds up to 20 items, but can always be upgraded. And then once it's full, you just go back and you can salvage it into loot. Instead of light, heavy, and advanced hooks like they previously mentioned, they're going to streamline the design. So now there's only going to offer one salvaging hook type that scales from bronze to dragon, kind of like how every other skill does it. So
yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be like fishing, where if you don't want to keep your cargo, you'll be able to just drop it on the ground.
Yeah.
Or back into the water.
Yeah, and if it's not clear, you just roam around and there are sunken ships and you just go up to them and start salvaging them.
Yeah, my
pretty
arrows
simple.
led me there.
Yeah, your arrows. Yeah.
Yeah, but then my arrows kept trying to like point me away when I was already there, so it was so weird.
Did your arrows also lead you to the next thing?
No, sea charting. My arrows did not lead me anywhere. You'll find plenty of memorable locations as you ride around Gilnor, hidden currents, ocean depths, weather patterns, and other phenomena you'll want to note down in your captain's log. So this is going to be like a nice little way to get XP in the beginning of the game. Unfortunately, this is something that can only be done once.
I still don't like this idea.
I like it if it was forever. So like you're going to go to, it says be able to chart the following star zones. So Bay of Sarum, Mudskipper Sound, Firth of Lum, etc., etc. You can only do that once ever on the account, which is where it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I think it'd be like, oh, I haven't updated this in however long. I can go back and do it again.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the achievement diaries. It's a good thing to work towards, and it's done.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, never again. But without the rewards from achievement diaries.
Maybe it would be cool if it scaled with level. Like you can only do a few for so long, and then as you get to like level 30, then they're like, oh, now you can recognize these things, and so you can go back and get more XP. I don't know.
I feel like there must be, right? Like
there has to be a way to do it, because like just going, like there's no other skill that's like, oh, you just do this thing once ever and it's just a drop of
other
XP.
than quest, yeah.
And there's no skills like that. Like you're not like, oh, I did the Slayer task for this one enemy, I can't do it ever again because it was a unique enemy. Like what?
Yeah, it's really weird.
That's weird.
But I could see them, like you said, adding something later on, like locking it behind levels to be like, you don't know how to measure the depth of the seafloor until you're level 50.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that would be cool.
I'm honestly not.
That'd be nice.
I'm not mad about this as a like way to get XP. It's mostly just like,
We don't like the one time only vibe.
I don't like it because as an idea of throwing away an idea after doing it is kind of, it just doesn't sound smart. That'd be the same as like
Mhm.
I just mentioned, like, oh, maybe there's this rare thing that you can only craft once, and then that's all the crafting XP you can do for that thing, and then never again. It's like, why would you limit
Yeah.
yourself if you don't need to?
I really hope that's something that they changed, though. I could see them changing it to be like how you kind of said.
Yeah, maybe.
Next is the Barracuda Trials. So the Temper Tantrum. This is aimed at players with at least level 30 Slayer. We can only get to 30, so there you go.
Sailing. You said Slayer.
I think I said Sailor.
Oh, okay.
Regardless, we're moving on.
Okay.
So you can start this by finding Trial Master Rum Dash Ralph just north of the cove. The aim of the trial will be to ferry rum shipments from south of the cove to the north, while collecting as many lost supplies floating in the water as you can along the way. You're going to want to be fast to impress the Barracudas. So being fast includes utilizing helpful speed boosts that come from sailing through the blue whirling rapids, aka the things that were killing me earlier, or trimming your sails at just the right time.
These are different things.
Yeah. That's what they looked like. That's what I sailed into.
Oh, is that what killed you? Because there
Yeah.
are whirlpools and then there are these things.
I think it was.
No,
Because I went into that area.
yeah, the whirlpools you take damage from. These ones are different.
What I assumed was you take damage from these if you're not level 30.
I don't think so. I
Oh,
mean, I could
I don't
totally
know.
be wrong.
Something damaged me.
I'm saying this based off of memory, but I think the whirlpools and the whirling rapids are different.
They look the same. So you'll also want to trim your sails at just the right time, but be careful to avoid hanging rocks and remember to dodge the storm clouds floating overhead. They'll damage your ship and slow you down. That's exactly what was happening to me earlier. I don't know.
No, that stays consistent. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, Alpha is out now. If you guys want to go
There's no
play
rewards.
it.
They'll just do this to feel it out. Is
Yeah,
their final
it's-
thing.
The reward is that you can give them feedback that they could take into the final game. Because if you don't give them feedback and you hate it, I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything about that. To be
Yeah.
fair, if you really hate it, like nothing you say is probably going to change it.
Yeah, but what'd you think?
I like it. The thing is, and this is a compliment. It was like boring in the way that every skill is a little boring in the beginning,
Yeah, it's
but
funny.
not in a bad way.
I saw a post that was getting a little more traction, and they're all like, "Yeah, I didn't like that. I got pretty bored of the skill by level 30." And I, as well as everyone else, is like, "What skill is fun?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
I
about? Like, you're like, oh, sick! I get to mine more copper. Like, like, what are you talking about? Do you play this game?
I think it's a good criticism until you remember what game we're playing.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
then you're like, oh, lavas weren't. I don't even think lava. They're like above 30, I think.
dude, there is literally not a single skill that is fun to 30.
Yeah.
You're not at level 10, 20, or 30. Like, oh, this is cool. I'm glad I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You're crafting necklaces times 1,000. You're smelting bricks times 1,000. Like, what do you like? Which part of this is fun?
So in that way, this is better than other skills because it's got that same boring aspect, but at the same time, you could go and kind of explore new places at least.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But yeah, I saw someone else, I think it was like Potato Tweet too. That was just like people will just play for 5 minutes and be like, oh, it's so bad. And it's like, okay, go do 5 minutes of early level rune crafting and tell me how fun that is.
You don't even have to get as dumb as rune crafting. Like, literally just go and do the first thing that everyone does and go chop a tree to level 30.
Yeah.
That shit is not cool.
Yeah,
It's not interesting. You're not like having a hyped time telling your friends like, join me in this game so we can all cut this oak
Some
tree.
people like it, I guess. Not me.
No, dude. That's not how skills in this game work.
So yeah, I actually thought it felt very normal. And before I don't know how I'm gonna explain this, so bear with me. And I might just give up trying. So before I was like, I don't understand how this is gonna be a skill. Like you're just moving around. You only get skilling XP like when you do certain things. Like kind of like how earlier I was like, are you gonna get XP the entire time you're sailing? But as I was playing it, I realized that that's not really how the game is. Like Slayer, you don't get Slayer XP until the enemy's dead. Which at first weirded me out. Do you remember how much I hated that?
I don't.
Oh, I thought you should get XP the entire time you're attacking them with combat XP.
I mean, you do in a way.
No, I thought you could consistently keep getting XP as you fought them.
I mean, yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, like,
Yeah.
I guess it's just a like way of looking at it. Because like if a mob has 100 health and gives 100 XP, then technically per damage you're getting 1 XP.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's I mean how you can look at it,
Yeah.
I guess.
But so I guess the way I'm thinking of it now is sailing does not mean literally just moving. This is gonna sound like I'm trying to be fake deep. Sailing isn't just actively moving your
Sailing's
boat.
not
It's the
just
friends you made
sailing.
along the way.
It's really catching the winds of life and going deeper into your own mind's
It's
ocean.
it's not about the destination of 99. It's about the journey of trimming your sails over and over.
Nah, this is just like
The
every other
end.
skill. It sucks. You just gotta do it.
But how do you think it felt? I think it felt like I felt like a normal skill to
Yeah,
me.
I think
It didn't feel weird.
literally every single person I've ever seen give feedback on this, which is like 12 at this point, none of them have thought the sailing aspect of sailing was anything but good.
Yeah. Which I was really nervous for, but I'm like it even the parts that aren't intuitive, you know, like me getting lost in the arrows and
Yeah.
stuff. It still felt like a normal skill. Like I could see myself doing all that with another skill in RuneScape.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the podcast, I didn't see a world in that they made the skill not feel like a RuneScape skill, and that's exactly what it feels like.
That's all people were worried about.
It feels as natural as a skill can feel in the game.
Yeah. So I think that they actually did a really good job of capturing that.
Yeah, regardless of the gameplay loops, the actual sailing itself, the mechanics based on sailing are as good as they could be.
Mm-hmm. I do feel a little bad that we didn't do more because we can't talk about the gameplay loops, but we can say that the skill at least feels normal.
Yeah. So
That's all I have to say on it.
yeah, I thought it was fine. I only logged in just to literally see if sailing was as good as everyone said, and it was. Trimming the sails was cool. Sailing was cool.
Still ain't no shamanism, but that's okay.
Yeah, turning was perfectly fine in what you'd expect. Everything was fine.
Were your arrows pointing in the right direction?
Yes, my arrows pointed where I was clicking.
My arrows were taking me all over the place.
Yeah, because that's where you were clicking.
All over. I was like, oh, we're at a shipwreck. Thank God the arrows took me here.
You're gonna-
my God, why are my arrows going north?
You're gonna confuse people because
I'm being sarcastic.
no one is
The
gonna
arrows are
understand
not
how foolish
telling
you
you
are.
where to go. I didn't realize for a long time because I was still going the same direction over and over.
Yeah, every
like,
time we
follow the
reference
arrow.
arrows in this conversation, it's just
Getting more and more
she
confusing.
didn't know that shows where you're going.
Yeah.
Anyways, I did want to bring up, so obviously everyone and their mom is making a post about the skill, what they think of it, why they hate it, how little they liked it or did like it. Who knows? There was one that
There's
got
a
more
long
traction
post.
than others because it was well thought out. It described the skill correctly, and they had some actual feedback.
Okay. How much of this are you gonna read it to us?
I'm just gonna read the goods and the bads, the
Okay.
pros and the cons, and see how much we agree with them so far.
Sure.
So this was a post by John Maverick, and it got a response by Mod Kieran just saying thanks for the feedback, and it's by far
Montcure didn't read that.
it's by far the most popular post on feedback for
Cool.
the skill so far. So they're saying that the positives is the movement feels smooth, and boats are easy to control. Loot from activity is good and useful to the level range it's intended for. They did the level 20 tasks and got 4 noted rune scimitars. So
Oh,
it was a significant amount of loot.
that's actually
Especially
decent.
at level 20. Every Iron Man is going to do this if that's the case.
I would say that's better than other skills at that level. Like
Yeah.
maybe too good.
Obviously, all of this is subject to change, but
Yeah, it's
even if it
alpha.
rewards a single rune scimitar, it will guaranteed be done by every single Iron Man that's ever made after the skill comes out.
Yeah.
There's a good variety of activities, even at lower levels, which isn't true for a lot of other skills.
Real.
I enjoyed customizing my ship, and I think it'll be amazing once there's more stuff to unlock. And I loved seeing the monodons in the sea, and I hope we'll have more animals roaming the seas.
What are monodoms?
Nessie?
There was Nessies?
I don't know. So the negatives. That there should be a task board at every port, because currently that is not the case.
Oh.
So if you get something to deliver to Musa Point, it felt annoying because you'd have to go to a different one that actually had a board. Musa Point does not have a board.
That's something that I think could be changed easy.
Yeah. They hope to get more varied port tasks and not just the courier and bounty ones, which, like I said, are the only 2 available right now.
Yeah.
I got stuck a couple of times with the reverse option, didn't fix it as well. Obviously, you had to use the escape option. It
It
sucks.
doesn't feel good. It resets you.
Yeah, it fully resets you.
It's like being sent back to Lumbridge.
It is. It's literally a home teleport. It's not good. It works for now in the alpha, but it needs to be better.
In main game, we will not be happy if it happens.
Yeah. There are some bugs like sea animals getting stuck on land, whatever. And I hope that with the HD update, Jagex can create some waves or water movement because currently it's just blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Waves
think
would be really cool, actually.
overall, I agree with pretty much everything they said.
Yeah, I think that was very well thought out too.
Yeah.
I like it. And I'm glad that a lot of their criticisms are things that can be fixed for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like it's broken.
My number one criticism, obviously I haven't got to this point if it was available, but I have watched plenty of other people get to, finishing the quest.
Yeah.
And this is an alpha. I understand that. That being said, I do think there should have been more things available in the alpha.
Really? There's kind of a lot.
I think that there should have been some type of ship combat to test.
I think my thinking is that they just don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have
Clearly.
it.
My biggest issue is that I could very easily see them being all like, all right, cool. We don't have time to do this. It'll be done whenever the skill's out.
No, I don't think that they should release until everything's ready. Obviously,
Well,
every other skill, we're going to get updates eventually.
Yeah.
But
there's going to be a beta.
Yeah, they need to release a finished skill. You
Yeah.
can add other updates 2 years from now whenever you're like, sailing needs a rework.
Because
But no.
it's not just a trend with this company or other companies or anything like that. This is just a thing that actually happens in development actively, which is why I'm worried about it. Where they're all like, all right, 90% of the skill feels fine. The ship combat feels like trash.
Oh, you talked about unfinished games coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're like, all right, this, I could see this happening where they're like, all right, cool. The ship combat, feels like hot fire, absolute trash, but we'll ship it and we'll fix it later. The ship it and fix it later mentality is how so many people get absolutely roasted by their communities.
I think that we as a community are harsh enough to where I don't think they'll do that. They could for sure, but I don't think that it will happen.
Yeah. I hope not, but I could see that happening, which is why that's the only reason I'm worried. The rest of it was totally fine, but I didn't like that because they didn't include one thing, and it's ship combat.
Yeah.
And if
I
that
mean,
one
to be fair,
thing,
they also didn't show a bunch of the islands.
yeah, but I mean, Islands is what, disembarking and then playing the normal game.
Yeah, combat's like you're doing actively on your
Combat
ship.
is you're on the ship, you're doing ship stuff. So the fact that it's not here makes me worried because that means it's really not finished.
Yeah. I just hope, like I've said it a billion times, and I'll say it a million more times. I am happy to wait a very long time as long as everything is finished and good.
Yeah, but
I hope they're not trying to, because they're like, we'll get out this year, and I'm
I
like,
was like, they're
whoa,
not.
we don't need it out this year.
They've already told investors that it's coming out this year.
To be fair, did maybe investors tell them it's coming out this year?
It doesn't matter. People have been told it's coming out this year. It would have to be a significant, like when companies do this, they're all like, the boss knows it can't ship right now, but they're all like, it's either this or I get fired, brother.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go and hope it gets better.
Oh my gosh. That's a little worrisome.
I don't know if that's the case, but that has definitely happened to plenty of games of the past.
Yeah, that's my new fear. Thanks for unlocking that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. If you
tried out sailing,
would please.
Oh, I thought you were like saying something to the listeners.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, if you're tuning in right now and you like sailing, let us know that you like sailing.
Of course.
Or maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Or if you also have a different biggest fear with sailing, let us know about that as well.
Yeah, you can reply on Spotify or comment on YouTube.
Yeah. Besides that, though, if you shout out to the people that do, ask us questions or shout us out on, or, do Spotify stuff. We actually like that stuff. and we
People
have
voted on the BG3 one, which I thought was cool. I was like, oh,
okay,
wow.
and then we have some actual questions this week.
Yeah, so first is from Matt on Discord. Do you think a game mode could be popular where all non-combat skills were removed, but combat skills are adjusted to an XP scale of 200 million? So level 99 is 200 million, and for example, level 92 is approximately 100 million. I personally think it appeal
100,000.
100. I think he meant 100 million because if you look at it like reading it that way, he said 200 million for 99, and I skipped this because it didn't make sense. But level 98 is approximately 181,000. I think that must have been 181 million.
I mean, he did the number twice though.
I don't know. Okay, I'll read it word for word and then I'll say what I think. Okay.
Yeah.
So what Matt said. 99 is at 200 million. Level 98 is approximately 181,000 XP, and level 92 is approximately 100,000 XP. I'm going to count it as millions because that makes more sense to my mind. I personally think it would appeal to some players, but imagine how rough the grind would be at low levels. Imagine doing NMZ full obsidian from level 60 to 69. Before it would take around 140 hours, now 2,000 hours. Okay, so it definitely was million, 2,000 hours, right?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. I would never in my life. I know Eileen would do this. If I think there's no reason to get rid of all the non-combat. If you just left every skill, people would do this.
I don't think so.
I think a couple people, like the people who are like really big on high scores.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Why?
Because there's no point. There's no leaderboard. The only reason people do 200 million is for leaderboards.
That's true, yeah.
So they'd have to have custom leaderboards for these custom worlds that are based strictly on PvP or based on
PVM, you mean?
PVM. But the thing is, there's no skills to like, you know, there's no ecosystem. So like, I don't even know how you get to the end game. Like, how are you even getting obsidian?
Mm-hmm.
How are you even like getting like? I'm sure there's obviously ways it'd be like you fighting boars forever, like the World of Warcraft meme. But it'd be like, I don't know. I could see like one or two sadistic people that just, I guess, have nothing else to do. But
I think people will do anything, but I like you pointing out that the main appeal is the leaderboard. So
yeah, that's why people got 200
people
mil the
would
first
want
time.
to just work on their leaderboards in the main game.
Yeah, the first time people did it, it was a race.
I could see people doing that because it would be a new race. Who would be the first one to do it again?
I think if there was like a cash prize and you just reset everything to be 99 is 200 mil, then I could see people racing to that or something like that to that extent. But it just being only combat,
I think it should be all skills.
I also don't think I don't know. Honestly, it's just weird because like there's a few things to think about, like because if let's say you do get obsidian, one, how are you even getting obsidian?
I like how deeply you're taking this obsidian.
Well, no,
Can you just go to Czar and kill them?
No, you have to go through the fight caves in order to unlock obsidian.
Okay, so you couldn't do obsidian.
No, you couldn't.
I don't think Matt.
You can only get
though.
obsidian weapons before the fight caves.
Oh, okay. So yeah, unless you were one of those people who does fight caves really early, there's a lot of them. You wouldn't be able to.
No, you have to think about it. It'd be 2,000 hours to get 60 ranged. And 60 ranged isn't even good.
That's why you saying that makes me think more people would play it because of the challenge.
I just don't.
You're changing my mind. Now I think people would do it because they'd be like, I can't even use a willow crossbow for like 30 hours.
Yeah.
Here's my 200 mil locked account or something.
I just don't see it because one, you're making the grinds longer, which is fine because obviously if you have 50, let's say 50 combat and that took you 10,000 hours, then it would take you, you'd be doing that on like giants, for example, because your gear would be trash and everything would be trash. So it's like it's not even like you're getting 200 mil off of like end game multi-combat type of like, crazy 100k XP rates.
Yeah, you have to get other
You're
places.
getting like 20k XP rates and that's good. So it's like, and also 60,
that's kind of crazy.
60 is like half of 92, which if 60 is 2,000 hours, then it would be like 8 to 10,000 hours to even get close to 90.
Yeah.
It's just I don't see anyone that would want to do that.
I could see it a little bit.
Uh,
Not a lot of people though.
I don't. I could see it would be cool if there were like worlds that had like resets, like the Fresh Start worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like maybe a cash prize to 200 mil or something like that. Or I don't know about cash
That'd be
prize.
nice.
Maybe there's membership prize to 200
Yeah.
mil,
I was
something
like,
like
they
that.
definitely couldn't do cash.
Yeah, or maybe there was like a leaderboard of the people that the first 5 people that were able to do it, and it like stayed up forever
Mm-hmm.
or something, and
That'd be kinda cool.
they just did this every year.
Okay.
But like this is just too arbitrarily long that I think even RuneScape players, unless like the one guy that's gonna do this, I don't think anyone else would do it.
Next question is from Harger on Discord. Do you think it'd be cool to be able to mix potions? For example, you could take 2 doses of Sarah Brew, 1 dose of extended super anti-fire, you're already shaking your head,
Yep.
1 ranging potion, mix them all together and make a potion where each dose you drink gives the proportionate effect of each percentage of those potions in the mix. Perhaps it'd be unlockable at level 65 Herbler, for example. I just thought of an issue naming the item. You'd likely forget what you mixed, and it says mysterious potion or something. You made 10 different mixed potions. You'd have no chance to remember.
True.
100%. They'd have to be a RuneLite plugin to scroll over. Is this, hear me out, is this kind of like that new helmet that we got from the Herbal mini game, where you can put a bunch of pre-pots in it and drink it all at once?
It would be the exact same thing, but it would just be
Cosmetically
housed
different?
inside of the potion.
Yes. So I kind of do think it's cool in a way because we kind of already have that.
Yeah. I think it is way too overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even.
That's true. It's like even more so than the thing we already have because you could do 3 brews and 1 restore, and you
Yeah.
just keep clicking that, and you're like full health and restored
'Cause
immediately over and
saves
over.
you so much time
Yeah.
while like in combat. Like if you had the perfect, like you said, the perfect amount of stores and brews, the perfect, like let's say if you're tri-breeding, ranged and super combat, like if you had the divine version of that mixed so that every dose you drank was both of them, it would just be way too strong in my opinion. And
Yeah.
it's not that it would save you so much time and ticks, it would save you so much inventory
So
space.
much. I was thinking that too.
Like if you had like an extended super fire, like you said, ranging potion and an anti-venom all like together
one
ready to
slot.
be drunk for Vorkath, you would only need to bring like 2,
Yeah.
and that would save you like 1 to 2 slots already right there.
It'd be too good. I do think, to be fair, I don't own it yet, but I do think that the thing that we have from the Herbal mini game seems really good. The pre-pot device.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it, but I think that that's a good, like less intense version of this for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, people would obviously still find ways to optimize around this. I think it would be cool, potentially, like if I was really trying to make this work, if like the potion, regardless of how many doses was in it, you could only drink it once. For instance,
Oh.
like if you were going to Vorkath, you need a anti-fire, you need a anti-venom, and you need a ranging pot. That's only 3 doses. So that means you're wasting an entire extra dose unless you put something else there. I don't know, maybe you put a brew there or maybe you put something else there. That would be fine. But the only 3 you need are those 3. So what I would see this being as usable is the downside is whatever else is there, you drink you slam the whole potion.
I think this would be good for trying like CAs. You want to save inventory spots for more food, but you're not there for multiple KC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe you want to like obviously that triple setup for Vorkath is ideal, but maybe you're trying to min max, and so you're like, whatever, I'll throw in a brew, and so then you have to like kind of think about when you want to use it because it's not just your buffs, it's also your brew.
Yeah.
So it's like that would be cool because then if you don't put anything there, you're carrying a 3-dose potion in a 4-dose slot, and that is just suboptimal, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So that could be a cool downside, but
yours
then,
is a little too crazy.
And then
though.
like slamming the whole thing, I guess it's thematic like barbarian style potentially. Yeah, so I can totally see it working that way, but it has to have some downside.
Yeah, of course. This one, it's a little too crazy.
Yeah.
I like what we have now as someone who's never tried it.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, it seems pretty good though.
Yeah, it does sound pretty nice.
But yeah, that's it for our Q&A this week. Thanks for
Yeah.
asking questions.
I do really like I like the questions. They made me think more.
Yeah, usually I feel like you're pretty agreeable with the questions. I was surprised that both those you're like, mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, I just I
You guys
could
have not
not
appeased Rober this week.
I could just not imagine a single person ever hitting 99 in this game mode besides, like I said, the people that do like the 99 off of regular trees in Varrock or in Lumbridge.
People are weird. I could see it.
Yeah, like I said, the one dude for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to do our little outro spiel?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm not confident with the beginning of it.
If you did like the pod, I hope that you did, then please make sure to come by next week. It's easy to find us on any of our socials.
Yeah, our TikTok and Twitter are Bunebapeosrs. Our Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram are all Bunebape. I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape if you want to hang out. Right now, I'm just doing duo chambies until I get Tebow with Wraith, so come hang out and maybe you'll be the good luck that we need for us to get this duo TiVo. And then once I get that, I'll get Zerite. And then I don't know what I'll do. One goal at a time, because otherwise I'll get sad.
True.
If you guys like the podcast as well, leave us a follow on Spotify. That helps us get found on the algorithm. You could also rate us, and you could do that on Apple Podcasts too if you'd like. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and for the questions and for being so cool. You guys like really listened to our RuneFest review episode. It was like the most listened to we've had in like months. So that was really cool to see. I didn't show you. I'll show you after.
Oh, cool.
So
thanks. Yeah, thanks for listening. And hopefully you all enjoyed it. And if you did, we'll see you all.
Very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.